Hashtag van life. It's been a thing for a while now, and Kia, not satisfied with dominating a lot of genres of the car market, has broken into this market. The ID Buzz, it's coming right at you. This is the Kia PV5, and it's available as a straightforward cargo van or as an MPV, because they think the future could not be SUVs, it might actually be MPVs again. And I think this might be one of the most important new vehicles that goes on sale in Europe this year. So in this episode, I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm going to look all around it and explore lots of its cubby holes and interesting facets. This will do over 250 miles on a charge, and I think the VW ID Buzz is in a bit of trouble. I'm Jonny Smith. You're watching The Late Break Show. So you know I said van life. Well, is it a van? It's sort of a van, the PV5. When I say sort of a van, it's because although this is won International Van of the Year, and it is available as a cargo van, like the ID Buzz, similar to the ID Buzz, its underpinnings are car underpinnings. This is underpinned by the E-GMP platform, which is underneath almost all the Hyundais and electric Kias that you know of. Ioniq 5, Ioniq 9, EV6, EV2, EV3, EV4, blah, blah, blah. Many of which of those cars I've reviewed on this channel. So that means front wheel drive, and that means very flat floor, built from the ground up as an electric vehicle. And this is available with two different battery packs. The bigger battery pack, 72 point something kilowatt hours, will do 258 miles or 256 miles. So about the same as the Volkswagen ID Buzz with its bigger battery, but significantly cheaper than the ID Buzz. We'll come on to that later. First up though, let's look at the design here at the front. So yeah, the two battery variants, the 51.5 kilowatt hour will do 183 miles WLTP on a charge, and this one, the bigger battery, 71.2 kilowatt hours, will do 256 miles on one charge. And it comes with two different motor sizes, powers. So one's 120 horsepower, which is 89 kilowatts, and the larger one, this one, 120 kilowatts, which is 161 horsepower, with 250 Newton meters of torque, both of them. Here, this is the charging flap, right on the front. So it's not interrupted by you opening doors or anything like that. You just nose up to charging bays, and there you go, AC and DC. It's got 11 kilowatt onboard AC charging, and it'll fast charge up to 150 kilowatts CCS DC. That's 10 to 80% in, I think, 29 minutes. And it will charge from flat, I think, at 11 kilowatts in something like 6.5 hours. Now, this is one van of the year. So although I'm not driving the van cargo version right now, and I will happily do it in a future episode of The Late Break Show, maybe pit it up against the Buzz, which is the natural direct rival for this. I really like the front of it. I think it looks so futuristic and interesting. It's got lights down here, but also obviously got these kind of like signature curvy lights along here. And it is sort of two-tone, I think, as standard. There's a whiff of, if you're similar age to me, there's a whiff of that action mad muscle van from Tango and Cash about it, which I think came out in 1989. I might be like smoking crack there, but I think there's a whiff of Tango and Cash about it. And in terms of size, well, I'll put above my head the size differences, but I had a look at the difference between this and the Buzz, just to give you a bit of a reference. This is 4.69 meters long. The Buzz is 4.7 meters long. So very, very similar. And this is 1,899 mil high. The Buzz is higher, 1,937 mil. And this is 1,895 mil wide. And the Buzz is 1,985 mil wide. So they are very, very, very similar. What do we think of the front though? I do like the front a lot. I think it looks interesting. There's two trim specs available. And in the UK, the passenger version, which is what this is, the people carrier version, it's on sale as you watch this video. It's just gone on sale actually, and it's available from the opening gambit as a 5-seater only. But they are, I believe, really soon going to be introducing a 6 and a 7-seater. Sliding door on driver's side is standard. The second one is optional. As you'd expect, a very boxy design to maximise the interior cargo volume. The volume in this thing is amazing, and there's stowage in all sorts of different places. And it's very, very slab-sided with obviously the plastic cladding, the ribbed plastic cladding that you see here. Reminiscent of a lot of other Kia designs. The EV9 with those sort of arch shapes springs to mind, and the blackened window line. I just think it's really handsome. There was a really interesting quote from Kia's design boss, Karim Habib. He said a couple of years ago, this is the sort of post-SUV era, and it's coming, and Kia is going to embrace it. So Kia already does loads of SUVs and crossovers and hatchbacks. They're basically building everything as well as they can, and largely they're doing a very good job. Van people are very, very picky people. This is one van of the year, so it's doing all right. Let's go around to the back. I forgot to say, by the way, these are steel wheels with hubcaps. I think this is sort of fairly base model. You can get alloys, and this is on 16s, EV specific tyres, 215/65 16s. I wasn't actually expecting to drive the PV5 today, so I've tried to prep as much as I can with as much detail about it. And as I said, it'll probably sell in larger quantities as the cargo van, and I'm quite happy to do a standalone video on the cargo van if you want me to, you the viewers. So let me know in the comments if you want me to look at the cargo van and maybe pit it against the cargo buzz. The cargo buzz I think starts at 45 grand. The cargo van of this is something like 27 grand. We'll talk about the price of this in a minute. What's interesting for me is immediately is the glass. The depth of glass is enormous, absolutely enormous, to the point where the armrest is so low. I feel like my shoulder's dropping down, but it's really refreshing. It's nice, and the door mirrors are huge. So the main difference between this and like the ID Buzz, I know I keep harping on about the ID Buzz, and if you haven't watched my video of it, I'll put a link above my head and in the description. It was a while ago now. The Buzz is actually being taken off sale in America, would you believe? But they waited too long, I think, and they only sold them the long wheelbase version. They should have just put them all out there, and VW didn't. It's a weird decision to make. It's like what they did with the new Beetle back in the 90s with us in the UK. They waited for years to give us the right-hand drive version, by which point most people were a bit over it. But this is front-wheel drive, front-motored. The Buzz is rear-motored, rear-wheel drive. And I really like the way the Buzz drives. The seating position of this is great, and because it's a flat floor vehicle, you have oodles of legroom. You have absolute acres of legroom. For someone who's tall, it's just spot on. It's really good. I do worry somewhat about the thickness of this pillar here. This bit that's attached to the door in combination with this section of A-pillar, it is chunky. It is chunky, ladies and gents. By the way, while I'm at the lights, I realised that in the intro, I called this, a van. They call it a PBV, a platform beyond vehicle. I don't know what a platform beyond is. And also the underpinnings of this, the E-GMP, which is the same chassis and everything as the passenger cars. They say, but this one's called the E-GMP-S, the E-GIMPs, not the E-GIMP. And the S stands for service, because it's a service vehicle. Okay, Kia, that's fine. While I'm trawling down some of these narrow, fairly badly graffitied streets, just wanted to say that we didn't have the chance to do any proper tracking today, but we've got some lovely tracking footage that was taken in the UK when it wasn't snowing. So we'll cut to some of that, I think. Yeah, montage. You're probably wondering, why the hell are you doing a British spec car in Belgium, Jonny? Well, because tomorrow morning is the Belgian Motor Show, which I'm going to, and there's going to be a lot of interesting debuts, including some from Kia. And I got the chance to drive this today because I've missed the chance to drive the other left-hand drive versions. And it's one of the most fascinating cars, I think, that have coming out in recent time, because no one's doing properly ground up EV vans, and this is going to really ruffle some feathers. I also forgot to mention that actually, I said it's Kia's first van. It's not actually Kia's first van. We in the West know Kia as a car company, but Kia actually started as a commercial vehicle company many, many moons ago. So they're almost going back to their roots with this one, albeit with EV underpinnings. Hark, the boot. It's a big barn door, this. It's enormous. We've got one of the videographer's cases in here and it looks completely lost, doesn't it, under here? So as I said before, this is currently only available as a 5-seat. So there's a row of 3 there, which is split, and you can obviously put it down. There's lots of underfloor storage in here. There's a really good array of stuff. Yeah, look, it's quite deep actually. Yeah, it's probably a good 6 or 7 inches deep below this surface, this hardboard surface here. That's someone on a bicycle who's failing to stop on snow. Don't worry about them. So the load length is 2,255mm long, and this is the only shape you can buy it in at the moment, L2H1 configuration. But they are going to be bringing out larger vans. They are going to be bringing out a PV, I think, 7 and a PV9. This is 1,565mm wide or 1,745mm wide when you, depending on what you're optioning it with, and the bay height is 1,365mm high. And the load lip is, Kia's quite proud of this, it says it's a 419mm load lip, but it's crucially the sliding door height, the height to get in the sliding door is only 399mm, and that's pretty low. Helped by, of course, I guess the batteries live down here. They've managed to get all of the centre of gravity down nice and low. It's shorter than the EV9 this, so if you've watched my review of the EV9, which is Kia's biggest passenger vehicle, the sort of electric Land Rover looking thing, this is shorter than that. So the 2 versions you can buy this in is the cargo, the van, and the passenger version, this one, but they are going to also even be doing chassis cab versions, I think, so you can put whatever you want on it. So they're really going serious on this configuration. Let's look inside. This is sort of a perforated artificial leather, and there's like a cloth at the top here. In Korea, in the native country where this is made, there's some more interesting interior options, I'm going to say. This is the only one seemingly coming to the UK, and I think it's a bit sensible and a bit drab, which is a shame because the ID Buzz is very vibrant. So I think the Buzz wins in terms of materials. We also need to consider at this point the multivan. Volkswagen Multivan, which is the plug-in hybrid 1.4 petrol, is one of the best vehicles, like family vehicles, I've driven in recent time. I love that thing. And the seat orientation of that is phenomenal. This is rather pleasant. And I'm already kind of modifying one in my head. The smaller battery variant is probably going to be the one that less people spec. But then again, if you're a van delivery driver in mostly urban spaces, you know, the city range of electric cars where you're doing 30 miles an hour most of the time and lots of stopping and starting, so you're regenning on the brakes a lot, you'd be surprised how many miles you can get out of it in cities. But this one, 256 miles of range, WLTP, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It's 10.8 seconds to 62, the acceleration. 12 point something if you've got the smaller motor, smaller battery version. Yeah, so this is the base model, the Essential, but the Plus version, which I would normally be less interested in. It comes with alloy wheels that are 16s, not bothered about the alloys, the steels are fine. I just bin the hubcaps probably. But the things I do really care about on that trim pack are the fact you can get the optional heat pump, which I don't think you can in this one, and you get heated steering wheel, heated seats at the front, heated outer seats at the back, the possibility of a vehicle to load. So in other words, you've got a 3-pin plug at the back, you can power things. Those are all really important EV facets. all these tunnels and things remind me of the Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne spec. In fact, being in Belgium reminds me of the Bourne Identity as well. Would Jason Bourne drive a PV5? Yeah, of course he bloody would. He'd steal it off people like me, desperately trying to get away from Treadstone. Although, I bet he wouldn't ride an e-scooter, because even he knows he looks like a on one of those. Harsh but fair. Do you know what this also feels like? And this is similar to quite a lot of Kia, Hyundai products, is they don't feel their weight. Like there are some electric cars which they feel their bulk, and I know all the bulk in EVs is low down in the belly of the car, but they don't feel heavy. And I know I'm not pushing this thing hard, but it feels very, very much less than the 2 tons that it is. What I think they've done with the PV5 is they've given it a really interesting face that's not retro at all. It's not trying to be old school. It's very futuristic looking, but I think it's got a charm, and it's definitely got a flair, a bold flair about it, which few cars have these days. And maybe they've hit the mark even better than Volkswagen, because when I tell you the price of this thing, you'll realise what I mean. I'm not going to tell you the price yet, because I want you to watch this video for a bit longer. I know that's cruel, but hey, audience retention is key. Looky here, looky here. Obviously, because it's a van, it's absolutely huge in here, but what Kia has done is put USB chargers in the backs of the seats like they do with the passenger cars, which is great. The plastics that you see on the floors are all really hard wearing, because I guess it's van derived. It knows it's going to get abused a little bit. I also am really keen to see who turns this into a camper van, because this could make a really good day/camper van. I think that could be really interesting. But yeah, I wish they were a bit more interesting with the soft furnishings, the upholstery in here. But thankfully, what they've done at the front is really decent and tasteful. Right, business end. Is it the business end? It depends really. This is the part of the PV5 internally, which is great. Although it's quite sensible in colour, really love the way that they've made it so car-like in the PV5. Same as VW's multivan, which is based on car architecture, and the ID Buzz, which is sort of based on car architecture. It's just so refreshing, because it means that it should drive like an actual car. The steering wheel, I think, is not even circular. I think this is quartic, like Austin Allegro's, wouldn't you say? And then the driving mode button is right in the centre here, so 2-spoke steering wheel, right in the middle here, and I believe it has snow mode. Yes, it does, which we might need today. In fact, I'll leave it in snow mode. You've got the usual little digital dash binnacle here, and then you've got the 12-point-something inch infotainment system, which is Android Auto optimized here. Now, there's less buttons on the panel here than most Kias and Hyundais that we know of. There's 2 charging ports here, and there's a camera, but you've got steering wheel buttons, physical buttons here, and you switch it on with this rotating little selector here. So electric handbrake there, and this stuff you do most of the scrolling through all of this. Things like the climate control and stuff are on the lower part of the screen, just here, for example, which is not quite as convenient, I don't think, as having physical toggle switches, especially if you're, you know, a tradesperson. It's going to get hammered a little bit more, but hey, it's okay. And then down here, there's actually like a miniature filing cabinet storage unit, which pulls out from below this rubber-lined console, which might be wireless charging for your phone. I haven't checked yet. And then you've got a normal glove box just here. So I just think it's really tasteful. Oh, and you've even got a place, yeah, you've got a place here for storing, I don't know, sandwiches and contraband. It's really good. Oh, and that is a place to prop a phone, I think, up there, or put some cards, like car park cards or credit cards or something like that. These pillars are quite thick and prominent. Yes, you've got a quarter window here and a grab handle, but I'm wondering whether that's going to be slightly impeding of my view when we drive. I've got a normal rear view mirror, but I've also got a really handy reversing camera, which I've noticed a lot of the reviewers of Van of the Year have said is spot on. And then of course down here, big center console, lots of little cubbies for various things, including some that go through to the back. And the door's got loads of cubbies for big bottles and stuff like that. I can't bear it when you have door cards, which you can't fit big stuff in. Even the handle to pull the door shut is a huge rubber-lined tray, which you could fill with, I don't know, Haribo. And the handle is not down here. It's a vertical lever, like I think Volvos or Saabs used to have. I really like that vertical lever there. Oh, besides all these interesting storage things in the door bin and stuff like that, I found another one. It's under my arse, down here. Look, stiff. Oh, you could put your lunch in here in case bears come looking for it. Say, there is an armrest for the driver here, but I believe you can't adjust it. So normally you can adjust the armrest up and down. There is just one adjustment for the armrest, so it either works for you or perhaps it doesn't work for you. We will see about that. And there's 4 stages of regen braking. So the paddles, I've just noticed these, the paddles behind the steering wheel here, you can knock it up or down depending on how much regen braking you want. And of course that harvests energy back into the battery, which is really good. Or it has an automatic function, which it might default to, so that it knows where you're going. It has GPS. It knows if there's a corner coming up, and it will probably just help with the regen a little bit stronger if it knows you're coming up to a hairpin or a red light or something like that. I do really like that. And of course, a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, it's an electric van, how good is electric? Well, what we do know is Kia and Hyundai, apart from Tesla, are probably the leaders in battery efficiency and drivetrain. They have phenomenal electric cars. I've driven many of their electric cars and I do like the drivetrain. So that promises to be as efficient as it can. I think it's, on average, it's 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That's what the statistic is, which is not bad for a very brick-shaped object. But talking of bricks, remember, this is the joy of van life compared to SUV life, which isn't a thing, is the fact you maximise this space. It's purposely boxy because you can fit so much stuff in it. If you're one of these people that loves dogs and is moaning about the fact you can't fit dogs in cars, well, a van-based car is the best. It just is. Oh baby, then it fell apart. It won't though, because it's got a 100,000 mile warranty, and it's seven-year warranty, or 8 years for the battery in particular. There's a guy on an e-scooter, and unfortunately he looks like a turnip because you just look lazy and you look like a huge Donkey Kong riding around on wheels that are this big, when you could have just ridden a bike. You know, it doesn't require a battery. It keeps you fit, stops you from getting heart disease. Anyway, it's irrelevant to this feature. What I should have mentioned when I was rummaging around in the back is that the back seats can't be removed. They can be folded and lifted, sort of tumbled, but they can't be removed, which I think is maybe a bit of an oversight. The VW Multivan, you can remove all the seats and they're totally individual, and they're amazing. It's bizarre, in fact, that they didn't use those seat configurations in the Multivan in the Buzz. Anyway, modern car manufacturer decisions are weird. I really like this car. I think it's rather good. I'm already thinking of how I could modify one of these to make it more personal. And I do think that it's a shame that Kia UK have only taken this sort of fairly drab interior option when there's more vibrant available in Korea. So it begs the question, like, if you're buying one of these at a keen price, would you commit and reupholster? I might do. Yeah, I might. And would you consider making a camper van / day van? Yeah, I think I would actually. Yeah, look, going over these speed ramps and everything, like the damping on this is wonderful. It's really lovely. I'm just amazed at how they can make commercial vehicles ride and drive so car-like now. It's just a joy. And if you're one of these people that buys SUVs and stuff because you like the higher driving position, just buy a van-derived car, because you sit higher, but you have a much better box, a much better voluminous space within, because there is so much space in here. I could wear a proper Victorian top hat and I wouldn't need to remove it. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know. I just don't know. So you've got Eco, Normal and Snow. I'll put it in Normal just for a bit, which obviously uses a little bit more power. You could just about hear the motor at times, but I mean that's normal with an EV, but it's fine. You can get the audio upgrade, I think, with the higher spec vehicle as well. There's so much space around this because the console doesn't come all the way up to here, and I like that. It reminds me of the Ioniq 5, which is still one of my favourite EVs, the Hyundai Ioniq 5. If you're watching this and you own an ID Buzz, or an electric Transit, or maybe a plug-in hybrid multivan, or an electric Peugeot Rifter, I'd love to know what you think of them and what they're like to live with in the real world. Let me know in the comments. I think this qualifies also for the UK government electric vehicle, plug-in electric vehicle discount. So yeah, you'll get even less money than what it's advertised at. I'm not going to tell you what the price is yet, but I think you'll be surprised, pleasantly surprised. Or if you're Volkswagen, you might be crying a little inside. There's a Twingo, a classic one. Going to be touching the brand new Twingo in 24 hours time, and I'm really excited about that. That's a cool electric car that's coming. It's got really good, like with most EVs, is the 0 to kind of 30 and the 0 to 60 are the important bits. Beyond 60 it doesn't really matter. Top speed's irrelevant really, because you're always trying to make it as efficient as possible. And talking of efficiency, that's why the plus spec, the higher trim level of this, is probably the one to consider, because it has heated seats and heated steering wheel and the optional heat pump. I'm not going to collide with it, it's fine. And also heated seats back there. And those are things which actually allow you to heat the cabin and be comfortable and use less of the main battery. And that's across the board for any electric car. It's not just this particular one. But yeah, they're crucial in weather like this and countries like the UK. It's just a really pleasant thing to be in, and I just saw the reflection of the profile of it in a glass office window when we pulled up at the lights. And I thought, yeah, that looks really good. I like the look of that. I think it looks pretty cool. I just wish this was brighter. I love the steering wheel, and I like the layout. I can handle all that. No haptic silly buttons, Volkswagen. I just wish it was a little bit more, there was a lighter option. Tell you what they do very well in Belgium, they do very cool 60s and 70s brutal concrete buildings. And that one on the right there is probably, I know it's telling me that my eyes have been taken off the wheel. I bloody no! That building there that I won't look at is awesome. That's so awesome. With like tobacco tinted glass. So 70s. Brilliant. If I was a town planner, there'd be more of that kicking about. So the week I'm driving this UK spec car, this car goes on sale, or this van goes on sale in the UK. So customers who put their order in early are getting them within the next few weeks. So you can order them right now. If you haven't watched any of my EV reviews before, there's a whole EV playlist which you can look up. I'll put it in the description. And if you want me to do more vans in general, I've reviewed several vans over the years. Let me know in the comments. So I'm going to see if I can do a UE here using this turning surface. Let's see if we can. Let's see if I embarrass myself. Let's see if we can do this. Can we get around there in the snow? Yes, we damn well can. That is rather good. Yeah, that is rather good. So the PV5, what do I think? I love the way it drives. I love the way most of it looks. I love the way that Kia is unashamedly a bit of a disruptor in so many games and seems to do it with conviction. I'm not so keen on the fact the interior is rather bland, or the coloration of it is. Put it like this. Imagine if this was a more interesting two-tone. Imagine if it had more interesting wheels. And imagine if you just went, well, I'll reupholster it with some funky colours for the MPV version. Now that sounds mad for a brand new car, but last time I checked, the ID Buzz People Carrier is about £60,000, and the cheapest van version, the bare van version, is 40 something. How much is this? As I tell you, this is £27,500 plus VAT for the bare van. And for this version, it's 33. That's excluding any government discounts. So about 30 grand will get you one of these. That's half the price of a VW ID Buzz. And it is not half the van. It's the same range with the bigger battery. And you could probably make it look even better with a few little personalization tweaks, which you could do if you're paying 30 grand. I think it's a really, really solid piece of work from Kia. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know, and I'd love to know if you're also an owner of an electric Transit or an ID Buzz or a Volkswagen multivan. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already subscribed, I'd love you to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload a video, which is nearly always every Sunday. Love you, bye.